ancestors would have ripped his arms out of his bloody sockets and beaten him to death with his own bloody limbs.
Someone help me! He's stuck. Come move the seatbelt. Wrong day to be a good Samaritan.
I am Peaceful Fountains of Desire, the masseuse. I come with compliments of the manager.
Sure you do. Come in.
On the bed, please. Face down.
Yes, of course.
I'm not that kind of masseuse.
I'm not that kind of customer.
Try again. Now it's our turn.
Show me some skin.
You want to see me undress? What are you, some kind of pervert?
Oh, look, it's my last lover. I mean, honestly, it's like he's stalking me. You let him know it's over in no uncertain terms, but he just can't seem to get the message. Now, honey, this time you've got to listen. It's no use coming back like this every time you feel lonely. I don't want to see you anymore. It's over. Finito. Kaput.
Ever had a filling?
No.
Well, first, they get your little white tooth and put it into a big steel vise. And then... they get a big fat noisy drill. Like the one that Daddy has in his shed. And they put it into your big mouth.
This is my twin sister, Weena. And before you say separated at birth or what, you're right, we were separated at birth. I was kept upstairs, and Weena was given her very own room down here in the basement.
You've got to go.
Sure, together we go together. Not without you. Not without Raz.
Raz won't be coming.
What do you mean Raz won't be coming?
He's not coming, Lee. Go. Go now.
Not coming?
You've got to go, Lee.
With you?
No. Listen to me.
Is that John?
Lee, don't do this, Lee.
Hello world, welcome to World Humanitarian Drive's Inspiring Millions Show. This is the show where we feature brilliant minds from around the world to share with us their story, one story at a time. Thank you for joining us live or in replay. I'm Vivandrado Flynn, your host and Global Media Relations of World Humanitarian Drive. A year ago, countries around the world went into lockdown to tackle the COVID-19 pandemic. We take this moment to reflect on the impact of the pandemic. We remember those who have suffered and those lives we've lost, as we realize behind every life lost is a grieving family. The fight isn't over. The world is still grappling with COVID, job losses, racial injustice, and mental health. We're all in need of inspiration. Here to inspire the world on Inspiring Millions Show is a Filipino-British actress, Bond girl, TV host, travel writer, packing expert, author, adventurer, entrepreneur, and a new mom, Miss Rachel Grant. We'll get to know her inspiring story in a short while. Meanwhile, here's a brief background about World Humanitarian Drive. World Humanitarian Drive, also known as WHD, is an international NGO founded in Croydon, UK, by British Indian global peace activist, entrepreneur, writer, Dr. Abdul Basit Saeed. The primary vision of WHD is to promote peace, education, and trade harmony initiatives globally among everyone across the world, regardless of race, gender, religion, or nationality, living as one family. On this Inspiring Millions show, we encourage you to engage with us. Our regular viewers know the drill. Please help us spread peace, love, and inspiration by sharing this link. Put your questions that you would like to ask our special guest, Miss Rachel Grant, or comments that you have for us in the chat box. We will read them later on in the show. Let us also know where you are watching this. Wherever you are in the world, let us keep you company and brighten your day as we share love, goodwill, and inspiration. Today, our virtual stage takes us to the United States of America, a country with 50 states, the land of the Star-Spangled Banner, famous for its culture, attractions, food, TV shows, and movies. Our special guest today has made USA her home for several years now. We're very much honored to have with us Miss Rachel Louise Grant de Longueuil, who plays many roles in life. A British Philippine-born actress, notable for her role as Peaceful Fountains in the James Bond film Die Another Day. Aside from movies, she has had roles in theater and on British TV shows, including Emmerdale, and was a tour guide in Bravo's tour group. Rachel is a TV host, singer, dancer, organization and packing expert, dubbed as the Packing Queen, Filipino martial arts expert, travel writer, adventurer, having traveled to over 80 countries, award-winning digital producer and entrepreneur. Miss Rachel Grant has appeared on covers of international magazines. Rachel is a cover girl of Yes Philippines News Magazine UK for this month, Women's Month issue. And for Rachel's most important role yet, she is the mother of a newborn girl, Maya Patricia. Let's all welcome multi-talented, multi-skilled, humanitarian, Miss Rachel Grant.
Hi, Viva.
Welcome. Thank you for joining us here today, Miss Rachel Grant.
Hi, Viva. How are you?
I'm good, thanks. How about you?
Yes, I'm very well. I'm actually in Florida, in Miami, and I'm here on somewhat of a holiday, a vacation. And yeah, I actually live in New York, so it's quite different for me to be doing an interview with you in Florida, in Miami. I'm just outside my room, actually. Yes.
Yeah, so you're in sunny Miami. So your website, rachelgrant.com, it's so full of many achievements. So could you please give us a brief background about yourself and
You're
how
absolutely
you got...
right. It's so full of so many things, and I have so much more to add to it, and I really don't know where to start with it. Or it's quite funny because there's so many different, as you say, so many different roles and variety and different characters going on there. Yes, that's true. So I am, I grew up in performing arts, and I went to performing arts college, and I've done theater, movies, TV, but I also love to travel. So travel is a big part of my life, and there's a lot of travel on my website, and travel kind of brought me into another world, another sphere of entertainment, including producing videos and packing videos that went viral, and also humanitarian work and charitable endeavors. Travel was a big part of that. Although I did do quite a lot of it in England as a child growing up, yes, travel kind of made it more international and much more, made me more enthused to be part of something bigger and a lot more with the side of giving back to the world.
Yes, Rachel. So you're also known as the packing queen, and then you became a viral star after sharing your space-saving tips for Shark Tank's company Biagi. So how to pack over 100 items into a carry-on.
Yes.
Shall we see that video?
Oh, you have it?
Yeah. Let's see it.
Hi, so I'm going to be packing all of these items that you see here, including this rail here of 23 items of clothing, into a carry-on. I'm going to be packing it into this little carry-on, which is a Biagi zip sack. And my secret is elastic bands, packing cubes and Ziploc bags, which help compress the items into the carry-on. Packed over 100 items into a carry-on, and I might just go traveling for a year.
That's a really amazing video, and it went viral. Can you tell us more about it?
Oh my goodness. So it was interesting. So that day we were doing a video shoot for Biagi. So we were doing 4 videos that day. We had a full production team in the house, and my husband, he owns Biagi, actually. That's how I met him. And we were filming all these videos. I prepped for them. We did take after take. We did all these, you know, different angles from the ceiling, from the side. You know, these are commercials, and they look really, really nice. And then at the end of the day, if you can see on that video, you can see that it's dark outside. It was about 11 o'clock. And I said to myself, I've had this idea that I've wanted to do. Can you just leave the camera filming me in the room? And I'm just going to do something, and then that will be it. So that's what they did. They left the camera in the room. I set it all up, unplanned. And I kind of guessed how many items could possibly go into this bag. And I did it in one take, and that was it. So from that day, we had 5 videos. And of all those 5 videos, and of all the videos I've ever made, the one video where I'm not even prepared, I'm not even like dressed in anything amazing, you know, I was literally wearing my like crew outfit as a producer, just moving around the house. That was the video that did really well. And it somewhat makes sense because it's me just be at home, being normal. There's nothing staged or so like beautifully lit. It's not like we're in an amazing studio. Oops, someone just shouted something then, sorry about that. And that was the success of the video. Yes, that's what happened. It was quite amazing really what happened. I think on Facebook, so many people shared it. It got like 12 million views. Oprah shared it, Ashton Kutcher, Time magazine, Good Housekeeping. We had every home and house magazine sharing it, and it was crazy for about 1 month. It was crazy.
So do you have any tips for going viral? Because there are many people there who want to have viral videos. Do you have any tips for them?
So yes, I would say the more spontaneous and the more unthought of and unplanned something is, the better it will it'll come across, and the shorter the video, the better. Also, I was actually quite lucky in that that video is a little long for something to go so viral. Something that probably would be under a minute would be better, and that's actually under 2 minutes. We tried to condense it and speed it up as much as possible, but it just, the whole thing is 15 minutes, so we had to like squash it all together. And it's almost like a black and white movie where I'm you know, Charlie Chaplin wouldn't speak and he's moving really fast and they're showing things and there's words underneath. Yeah, so for viral videos you have to be able to watch them on silent also, because when you're scrolling through a news feed, you're not hearing any sound. So something that catches your eye straight away in the first 3 seconds has to look good on silence, and it has to look good within 3 seconds. Otherwise that person is just gonna just scroll through that feed and it's gone. So, oh, and another tip is to have like an opening line that's catching. It's that first 3 seconds. So for example, how to pack over 100 items in a carry-on. That's quite like a curious and kind of eye-catching title. Someone might stop, what? Like, and then, you know, they'll watch a few more seconds, and if they like what they see, then they'll continue. If not, they'll keep on scrolling. So those are the tips that I can offer. Does that make sense? Yeah.
Yeah, thank you so much for the tips. They're really useful.
Right.
So you also design travel bags for WHD luggage. Your bag designs won finalist awards. And then, so
how do
what
you know that?
just
you know, I actually keep that a secret, because in the so many roles that I do, I find it might almost be confusing to people. So yeah, I actually have something that I'm actually really proud of that happened last week.
Yeah.
Nobody really knows this. I actually have a patent that has my name attached to it, and it's almost going to be going through. The lawyer finally approved it, and yeah, it's a bag that's already out that I designed, and I'm actually going to have a patent to my name, and I can't believe it. So, and I remember, I know, and the first bag that I made, it took me like 2 years to make this bag. It just failed each time I made it. And I made the first one by hand, and I shipped it off to the factory, and they couldn't figure it out. And they're so funny. These factories in Asia always tell me that they've never had anyone make these bags by hand. And the bags I make by hand look really terrible, by the way, because you can really see the thread, but the idea is there. And so they try and work around what I've made by hand. And then finally, just a year ago, it happened. I was able to figure out a way. And yeah, I've got a patent to my name. Not that it means anything. I mean.
Of course it does. It's a big achievement. So Rachel, what is your creative process? Where do you get your inspiration from when you're designing these bags?
Oh, it's funny, you know, I often think that. So, you know, I'm very mindful and observant. Like, I'm always looking at things and what people are doing. And when I travel, I always look at what bags people are carrying with them. What do people like? Hard luggage is very popular at the moment. And I'm very curious at things like that. So I kind of like have an idea and feel for what, in terms of bags and what have you. But one thing, I never push myself to make something. If I'm just like in the middle of my day and I suddenly have an idea, I'm not like, oh, I'm going to work on that this weekend. I go with that idea straight away. At that moment, I drop everything and I suddenly start making the thing there and then. So as soon as I have the idea, I have that feeling and that idea and that enthusiasm, I go with it. I suppose, you know, I come from a family of artists, and I know my sister and my father and my grandfather who all paint. When they want to paint, you can't just force yourself to paint, or force yourself to create something. Suddenly you have this urge and then you're just painting, and it's like a frenzy. So that's how I am with making these bags. I'll suddenly be like in the middle of cooking, and then I'm like, oh, I've got this great idea. And then suddenly after dinner, I'll be like making it straight away. I'm not waiting at all. And any days at all, I'm getting on with the idea there and then. I don't know, that's just me.
Yeah, it's great to know your creative process. And your mom, she unlocked an achievement in lockdown. She's a painter too now, right?
Yes, that's right. Oh, do you know my mother? Yes, I have no idea. She's been in lockdown, and she hasn't seen me for, it's been so long now, like a year and half nearly, and she hasn't met my daughter. I saw her last Christmas, not the Christmas just gone, the one before. And it's crazy that she's been separated from me and her family for so long. So she was feeling so down over it, and not being able to even get out the house. So she started painting. She'd never painted before, and she's creating all these beautiful works of art. So I'm really happy that she's made something of the lockdown and she's producing something wonderful. And it's a great time to be creative, actually, the lockdown. And you'll see once this is all past, all these stories will be coming out of what people achieved during the lockdown, and hopefully we'll be inspired by all the wonderful things we hear. Obviously, it's such a sad time for so many people, though, for those that have lost family members. And you said, and behind every person that's passed away, there's a grieving family. Yes. But
so, yeah, you were brilliant at finding opportunities. So there could be people watching right now who are feeling stuck at home, hopeless, helpless, maybe they're jobless. So what would you like to say to them about finding opportunities in these times?
Well, for example, like when you say opportunities, you mean like getting work or?
Yes, maybe just learning more.
So it's interesting because I've had a lot of people ask me, oh, please give me a pep talk. How can I be more enthusiastic during lockdown? So there are actually lots of ways. The first thing I often say is we're all in this together. You're not the only one. So that's comforting, right? In many ways, we're all, and if we all kind of band together, stay locked down, you can really be part of something wonderful. If we stay locked down, and get vaccinated, all this will just blow over, and we'll hopefully all forget about it, and we'll all emerge much more happier and more inspired. But I think if you are out of work, obviously just keep on applying, learn at home. There are so many fantastic online courses. You can enhance your skills, you can be creative, maybe you can discover that you have an ability that you didn't know before. You can make new friends online. There are so many free courses. I would just say, just try and make the most of being at home. My sister, she's a ballet teacher in England, in London, and she does online ballet classes now. And she used to have a school that had so many pupils, hundreds that were coming in every week. And now in the pandemic, she's teaching online. Very few people, attend the classes. People are attending the classes, but it's much less. But I've been attending the classes and I love it. And she's trying to grow this online base, so she's just keeping at it. Even when she had one pupil attend the class, she would do the class. She would just keep at it. And now sometimes she has 10 people in the class. So it's just really important just to not lose hope and just to keep at it, because in the end, this will just blow over and we're all going to feel so much better after this is gone. And hopefully we're going to appreciate and have just a new appreciation of life, and we're going to want to be with our family more and visit. I know a lot of people that don't visit their parents or spend time with their family. Now they can feel that it is very important to be around family and to visit them and stay in touch.
Yeah, hopefully we'll all just find inspiration in this and have better lives after this. So Rachel, you are sweating. Yes, it's kind of warm there in Miami. So yeah, you're a reminder to us women that we can be anything and anyone we choose to be. So you're so full of life and you radiate with confidence. So how did you find that confidence in yourself?
It's interesting because I don't know if I really do feel so confident, but people tell me I do. So one thing, I've never bothered what anyone has ever thought about me. So maybe that's my confidence. And when you don't bother with what anyone thinks about you, you'll just really do anything. And I was never afraid to fail, even like with making bags. I've made bags that have failed, but I've had these bag designs that have failed. And so I was never really afraid of that. So if you're not afraid of failing, I think, yes, you can be a confident person. And another thing with me was, so I was raised in a family of women. I'm the middle of 3 children. And my mother is from the Philippines. And the 3 of us, and my mother grew up with our yaya, who is also from the Philippines. And my mother and father separated when I was around 6 or 7. So we saw my father at different times, but in the household, we were all women. And to me, women were like the most amazing, most confident human beings. I looked up to women, and all the mentors I've had in my life have all been tremendous and wonderful women. So I've never ever lacked any confidence as a woman. If anything, I've often thought, and particularly as a child, that women were like, we're the best. You know, it's really good being a girl. I was so grateful always to be a girl, because there's so much more you can do and enjoy. At least that's what I think.
Yeah, so it's also International Women's Day. So do you have any tips for women out there and finding their voice? Because you're also an author and of a book called Making a Difference. You're an author
I
of a
lost
book.
you a little bit.
Yeah, so you're okay.
Yes.
So you're an author of a book called Making a Difference.
Yes.
And then, so could you tell us more about it and what inspired you to write it?
Oh yes, actually, I've been writing in my travels around the world and around the Philippines. I'd come across people that I thought were doing really amazing things in the community, whether it was somebody that was working with homeless people in the Philippines and creating a football team for the Homeless World Cup, or if it was a ballerina in the Philippines, Lisa Makuha, who would go around the underprivileged communities in the Philippines to see if there was talent there. And then, you know, she would pluck like several girls and they would attend her school for free, giving these young, underprivileged teenagers, youngsters, opportunities that they would never receive. And and giving it to them for free, for nothing in return. So I was deeply inspired by a lot of these people that I had met. I saw that what they were doing cost them nothing, just their time. But if anything, you know, that doesn't really mean anything. It cost them their time. They enjoyed what they were doing. What they were giving back was tremendous. And I just thought, this is so easy, which it is. And I thought, I can do this. So I started to have my own projects going on in the Philippines, whether it was building a typhoon and a school, raising funds for houses to transform slums into beautiful communities and all sorts of things like that. So yeah, I was deeply inspired. So I ended up writing some short stories, and there was a New Zealand author that helped me publish the book. Yes, Making a Difference.
Oh, yeah, it's just amazing to know. And it's also available on your website, right? rachelgrant.org.
I think, you know, this was quite a while ago, and I was never the one to like compile the book. So I'm not sure. I think you can still get it. I know it was limited, so I'm not too sure.
So Rachel, you're also, well, a Bond girl. So how has being a Bond girl changed your life?
So yes, I'm actually very lucky to be a Bond girl, and I appreciate that I'm a Bond girl now more than ever, because having that like tag with my name, Bond girl, I'm able to do so much with it in terms of the charitable endeavors, attending events, speaking, being able to inspire, encouraging. People want to have a Bond girl at their event or involved with their charitable project. So in terms of that, it's given me that little step, that platform to have a voice. And I feel very lucky for that, very, very lucky. So, and obviously it was wonderful being in the James Bond movie. I got to spend 3 days with Pierce Brosnan, and I met Halle Berry, and I was working on the 007 stage in Pinewood Studios in London. And then obviously after the filming and everything, then there was the red carpet premiere at the Royal Albert Hall, and the Queen attended, and there was the longest red carpet I'd seen in my life. And my mother came with me, and then I got invited to like Mauritius for the opening of a hotel, and I got invited all around the world, and it was quite nice. And that was just from the whole Bond girl thing. So yes, it was good. I can waffle on and ramble on the subject. I could talk for days about it, but I'll stop there.
So Rachel, so from Peaceful Fountains, that was your role in James Bond, and then to Fountains of Love. And then you are also a global ambassador for the Philippines' leading social enterprise, Human Nature Cosmetics. So you also launched your own eco-friendly pet products, furry kind. Could you tell us more about that?
Yes, yes, that's right. So I was the first cover girl for Human Nature. Was I? I might have been the first or the second. And Human Nature is a social enterprise that's based in the Philippines. It's Southeast Asia's, I think, largest social enterprise. If not, it's the Philippines' largest social enterprise. And it was founded by Dylan Wilk and Anna Meloto Wilk. They're wonderful people, good friends of mine, and they produce wonderful products. And it's interesting how we collaborated and connected. My aunt showed me their products in one of the markets in Manila, and at the back, and if you read the leaflets, it tells you about the work they're doing, because the money, you know, they obviously make profit, but then they put a lot of money back into you know, social good, and they also employ people from underprivileged communities. So I was really inspired by what they were doing, and I emailed them to say, what you're doing is so amazing, something like that. You know, I'm really proud. You know, I'm from the Philippines and I was raised in England. I sent the website some email, and when they got it, they were like, oh, this is that James Bond girl. We should contact her because we need a cover model and maybe she would do it. And that's how we connected. And they obviously got in touch with me, and I was like, yes, I'll be your cover model, sure, you know. And I love their products. They're so good, and the work that they do is fantastic. And then one thing led to another. I had a dog, and you know, I used their shampoo on my dog, and I was like, you know, we should do like a pet line, and that's how it worked out. But it's interesting because it went from me finding their products in a market to my image being plastered up on billboards around Manila. And that's just so strange. We were driving somewhere in Quezon City, and we just saw this huge billboard of my face. And then there was another one somewhere, I forget where, on one of the highways. Yes, and that's how it all began.
Yeah, so you've got this business too with a furry kind. Yeah, and then so do you have any tips for people wanting to start their own business in these COVID times?
Oh, you know, it's interesting. It's actually it is hard to start a business. And particularly if you're dealing with inventory, it's different if you're offering a service. What could I possibly say? So my mother at the moment, she has so many fabrics because she sewed all our clothes and costumes when we were little. So she literally has stacks and stacks of fabrics. Like if you open a cupboard in her house, it's just like full of fabrics. It's really quite funny. I'll open something and there'll just be fabric in there, fabric everywhere. So getting to the point, my mother has started to sell her fabric online, like on Etsy and on other places, because her fabric is valuable, and she's got fabric from like the 70s and 80s, like Viella, hard to come by, and she's actually doing okay. She's doing well. People are interested. So what I would say with starting a product, if you have like a niche, if you have like something like, so that fabric is a little unusual and unique, and my mother already has the inventory, so she doesn't have to buy it or make it or produce it. So so if you have something going like that, like for example, if you have, I'm not sure, you might have a collection of something you might want to sell on eBay or something, or start some sort of online business selling something you might have. That's one way around it. But in terms of if you want to make something, that's a little harder, but it can be done. You know, there are websites like Alibaba, and obviously you have to have a little bit of money behind you to do it. Don't ever think though, oh, I'm going to make a product, build a website, and that's it. Because people aren't just going to go to your website. It's very, very difficult to get people to know who you are, to go to the website and to buy. Just sharing on social media isn't going to work. You have to advertise on social media, and that costs money. So it's very, very tricky. Just be very, very wise and careful. But if you really, really believe in your product, you know, then maybe collaborate with somebody, find somebody that believes in it with you also, that maybe has money, get on the phone, There are all sorts of ways around it. My husband's really good at talking about this subject. He's excellent. So I'm kind of speaking off what I sometimes hear, and also what I know what my mother's been doing. I know someone actually, I met someone on Facebook. She makes hair flowers, right? And it's a shame. I would be wearing one now, but I forgot them at home. And she sells them and she shares them on. She makes them. So she buys the flowers and you clip them in your hair. And I love supporting her Etsy shop. So that's another thing. You can also support other people that make products on Etsy and all those by buying their products. Yes. I hope I said something helpful there.
Those are really great tips, Rachel. So with COVID, well, you've taken your vaccine, right? Was it Moderna?
I have, yes, I have.
So what would you like to tell people,
Woman.
yes, who are afraid to have their vaccine? What would you like to say to them? Because there are some people who are afraid of having their vaccine. So what would you like to say to them?
I hear it. I hear that you might be afraid to have a vaccine. It's the first time it's been rolled out. I actually want to admit that I think the first time when I heard it was going to be rolled out so quickly, I was like, oh no, I'm not going to be the first standing in line. I'm going to wait. I'm going to wait to see. I actually thought that myself, and this is coming from me, and I'm a big believer in taking medicines because my father's a doctor. I also am very natural. I like things to be natural. But I realize in terms of the vaccine, don't do it for yourself. Do it for everybody around you. Do it for your grandparents, your mother, your father. Do it for your country, your planet. We're all in this together. And vaccines are safe. If you just were to read about what taking a vaccine really is and what's in it, it's like amazing. It's one of the most ingenious inventions. There was a time when we're very lucky to have had vaccines. There was a time where children growing up would die of things, or they'd get polio and all sorts of things, yellow fever. We don't have to live like that anymore. Why would we want to go back to that? This is all as a result of vaccines. So if we, so I would encourage people, take it, don't worry, don't be so scared, it's okay. Once we're all vaccinated, we can move on and things can go back to how they were. In fact, they'll be even better than they were. How's that?
That sounds great. So Rachel, you have a lot of blessings coming your way.
I have a lot of what?
Blessings coming your way. So what are you grateful for as well? What are you grateful for in life?
What am I grateful for? So the simplest things make me happy and so grateful. It's interesting, when I see the sun every morning and it rises, I have to remind myself, wow, it's a beautiful day. The sun is up. That never, ever fails. I'm so grateful just for that. And I think if you can be grateful for something so simple, just for the beautiful tree that sits outside your room, I'm so grateful for that. You can be grateful for something so simple, and it's a tree in the sun. That's amazing, right? You can be grateful. You'll be grateful for so many things. Everything else will just be so easy. Everything else will be just an extra blessing. So be grateful for the simple things. Although the sun and trees, they're rather complex, right? But I'm so grateful for them. Yeah, be grateful for simple things and you'll always be happy.
So Rachel, you're also a new mother now. So could you share with us what it's like to be a new mother in these times?
Oh my, yes. It was interesting being a mother and finding out I was pregnant the day that New York went into this massive lockdown, and people around the neighborhood were getting sick and people were dying. New York was a really, really bad place this time last year. Nobody would have wanted to have been there. New York really, really suffered. I'm happy to say that now New York is in a much better way, but I found out I was pregnant during that time and I had to go through the pandemic pregnant, and I had to be so careful. I isolated, I wore masks everywhere, I washed my hands. I was extra careful because I just didn't know, and my doctor didn't know what would happen if I were to get COVID. Maybe I would have been fine. That was, the probability, but who knows? And I do know that there is a chance of miscarriage early on with COVID and what have you, but it all went well. And now I'm a mother and I gave birth also during the pandemic. So that was quite bizarre. I had 4 ladies, all kind of covered up and kitted up in their suits while I was giving birth, and I didn't expect that, but it went so well. The whole pregnancy in the end was, I made the most of it, you know, and it was just one of the happiest times of my life, if I can say that. It really was, being pregnant, and it was pain-free, and it was, I just think if you have the right attitude, everything else can kind of smoothly go along with it. And the birth was wonderful, and now I have this lovely little girl called Maya, and she's really amazing. She's I mean, I'm not just saying it because she's my daughter, she smiles all the time. She went on a flight for the first time yesterday, and she was giggling and smiling all the way, even when we were taking off. She was fantastic, and she's 3 months, 3 months and like 10 days or something like that. So she's lovely. She smiles at everyone. I wish I could have her here. She'll be smiling at you, but she's asleep.
Yeah, so Maya is definitely a reason, someone to be grateful for in these times. So Rachel, you've done Fun in the Philippines, and it's an adventure series. So
Yeah.
we also have viewers from the Philippines right now. They're watching in other parts of the world. So what do you love most about the land of your birth, which is the Philippines? What do you love most about it?
There's so much to love about the Philippines. There's, for one, it's this archipelago that has so many different islands, and so many, what's wonderful is all these different islands have different dialects, have different foods, have different festivals. That's so exciting. It's like a mini world in itself with the different languages, festivals, foods, right? And so to travel around the Philippines is so delightful, because you can literally go from Bohol to Bicol and experience completely different tasting foods and hear different languages. And the warmth and the welcome of the Filipinos are just, it's just wonderful. So that's what I love about the Philippines. So I never stop traveling around the Philippines. I really enjoy it, because there's just such a variety, and there's still so many pristine and untouched places. Like everybody knows Boracay, right? But I do know of other places that are just as beautiful and untouched still, and you know, maybe they'll last like that for a bit longer. But the Philippines is lovely to travel around, and I love that it's still so untouched, and it's still, yeah, there's still so many different pockets. Like if I go out there, I love it. Where there's no road, I absolutely love it in the Philippines. If there's no road, that means it's still so untouched, and I've come across that so many times, and I love that. I know that not many other people might like that, but I love going to a destination where there's no road.
Yeah, and you're an adventurer. You've been to so many countries, like more than 80 countries. There's somebody from Malaysia who's asking, have you been to Malaysia yet?
Oh, you know, I have not been to Malaysia, and I would very much like to go, because I do have Malaysian friends in London. Yes, I would like to go. I'd love to visit Kuala Lumpur and see some of the sites. Maybe he or she can recommend something adventurous I can do over there. I love wildlife, and I know I've always wanted to go to Malaysia to see some of the wildlife that they have there. Sure.
So Rachel, we have a question from a viewer. His name is Tongi Gra. So will you be playing in other movies in the future? Do you have any upcoming projects right now?
I've actually been working on acting in a web series. Last year during the pandemic, I actually worked on a web series with a producer in Los Angeles, and but I don't share that. I've kept it secret, so it is somewhere online and nobody knows it's me. So that's all I can say. That's I play a role that you wouldn't recognize me in, and I've kept it a bit secret.
So we're really looking forward to that as well. We don't know what your role is yet. And then, so do you have any upcoming projects that you'd like to share? Other things coming up?
Oh, look, I've got so many things in the works. And I don't like to say something unless it's really, if it's just an idea. It's, I've got like a travel show idea that's been bubbling along. And I've got this other web series idea that's been bubbling along. Got some new bags I've designed that will be coming out. There have been some of my projects. Yeah, so things like that, yes. And it's, you know, during the pandemic, it's been very difficult to actually be working. As you know, lots of people are out of work and things have slowed down, and travel. I usually like produce and make a lot of videos, and I work not just for BRG but for other companies, and all of those have been cancelled in the last year. So hopefully we'll be making them again sometime this year. I do hope, because I do enjoy working for the companies that I work with, but they're mostly travel companies, you know. So, and they're not really producing and advertising the way that they were. So they've had to hold off on things. So hopefully that will change.
We definitely have so many things to look forward to, Rachel. And so for our final question, Miss Rachel Grant, what is your inspiring message to the world?
Oh, inspiring message to the world. Well, since it's Women's History Month, I'd like to say, you know, obviously men and women to me are equal, but I do feel there is obviously a lack of female leaders and leadership. And I would like to encourage women to go for those roles, because women are fantastic leaders. We're natural at it. We're mothers, we're nurturers, we run households, we cook, we're talented human beings. We should be able to lead, you know, we pay attention to detail. We should be able to lead like better than men, really, if you think about it. So women are very, very talented. So that's my inspirational message to the world and to women. You know, don't ever doubt yourself, because you are fantastic. Really, you really are. You're very talented. Let's just say that.
We also need definitely a lot of women leaders out there. So maraming salamat. Thank you so much, Miss Rachel Grant, for gracing us with your presence. Yeah, and sharing with us your passions. Yeah, there in Miami. So also in honor of international recognition of your virtue in persistently serving and inspiring humanity with your noble deeds, World Humanitarian Drive would like to award you, Miss Rachel Grant, with Inspiring Humanitarian Award, signed on the 26th of March, 2021, signed by Dr. Abdul Basit Saeed, WHD founder and chairman.
So nice.
Of WHD.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you,
very
Miss.
Beautiful.
Yeah, thank you so much for all your humanitarian works. And here's to many more.
Thank you. And can I just say thank you also for inspiring me and putting the show together, because it's people like you that encourage me to keep on doing this and to make me aware of what I'm doing, because sometimes I'm just like doing it without, you know, without even being fully aware of, you know, you list all these things I'm doing. So thank you for encouraging me too, and for putting on this show and bringing it to the audiences. Yes.
Thank you for all the things that you do, the amazing things that you do. So congratulations, and thank you for joining us here today, Miss Rachel Grant. Filipino-British actress, Bond Girl, TV host, travel writer, packing expert, author, adventurer, social entrepreneur, and a new mom, Miss Rachel Grant. Let us share a quote by S.C. Laurie. Shout out to everyone who is trying right now, trying to do the right thing, trying to stay open, trying to keep going, trying to hold on, trying to let go, trying to find their flow, trying to stay afloat, trying to meet each day, trying to find their balance, trying to love themselves, trying new things and new ways. I see you, I'm there too, we're in this together. Let's all remember to be kind, respect one another. We are all fighting a tough battle in these challenging times. We hope on this episode we are able to inspire you to find opportunities, maximize your abilities, and make a difference in the world in your own way. World Humanitarian Drive would like to invite you to promoting a culture of peace with love and conscience on the International Day of Conscience with chief guest, Honorable Anthony Carmona, the 5th President of Trinidad and Tobago. That's happening on the 5th of April, 2:30 p.m. UK, live on Facebook. So this has been World Humanitarian Drive's Inspiring Millions show. If today's discussion inspired you, please share the link with your family and friends. Share with us your takeaways from today. Follow us on our social media accounts. Click subscribe on our YouTube channel, WHD Media. Visit our WHD website, www.whd.org.uk for more inspiring events. Stay safe and healthy, everyone. To our frontliners, we salute you. We thank you for your hard work, sacrifices, and dedication to humanity. On behalf of WHD team, especially those working behind the scenes, WHD Chairman Dr. Abdul Basit Saeed, WHD Director of Global Operations, Ms. Sarah Wilson, WHD's Honorable Secretary Generals, we thank you, our virtual audience from around the world, for joining us. Have a wonderful weekend, and Bibandrado Flynn, please join us again next Friday. We will have a discussion with Dr. Anil Kohli, an Indian dental surgeon, medical administrator, and Secretary General of WHD Media, WHD India, as we inspire the world here on Inspiring Millions Show.